Well, Café Anyway. Hey. What?
It's Mike's Daddy Podcast.
FFF 3106-3106. Mike Matthews here. Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
In the land of Meritopia, Podcastro Valley, Mike Matthews. I've got kind of sunburnt skin. No way. You shouldn't get burnt outside no matter what you say. You should wear that stuff and a skirt when you're outside. I mean, wear sunscreen is what I meant to say.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Did you know that Lilo and Stitch live action remake originally was planned as a direct-to-streaming release
Mike's
on Disney Plus?
Daily
It pulled in
Podcast.
$360 million in its first weekend. Wow, that was something for the Disney people. We met a dog today named Lilo. The dog was a miniature, small, tiny Italian greyhound, is I think what it was. I was in another area, so that was in Piedmont, and I'll have a picture of that in the podcast picture. But earlier in the day, I was over in the Alameda area, what used to be the naval base, and I was walking around. They've got an amazing museum. Well, I don't know if it's amazing, but from what I was told by the guy standing outside, I didn't have time to go in. But it has all the information about the naval base and about World War II and how the Bay Area was involved and how, yes, the rest of the country owes California a debt of gratitude for what it did in the Pacific Rim, the World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, and everything that it did up until the base was decommissioned, I think in the 90s. But, it's so fascinating around there. There's all these interesting stores, restaurants, a lot of breweries. In fact, there's this one huge building.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Not a picture of that, though, this huge building, which I found a lot of people. There's a dog park right next to this building. I guess it's a converted old big building that was used by the military. And now it's a bunch of condominiums and people live there. I think there's like 200 people living there. And I seem to see a lot of dog owners. And not little dogs the late great Basil the Boxer was not a little dog. He was a good 85 pounder. He was a big one. Brindle Boxer. And so he would have enjoyed this dog park because I sat next to it for a little while in the shade because it's kind of warm in the Bay Area today and it's good to be in the shade and good to be in Alameda where you get a nice breeze practically off the ocean. You got that stupid San Francisco in the way, blocking the cool breeze. But yeah, I was sitting there watching all the big dogs going into this dog park coming out of this condominium complex. Huge Malamutes, giant Mastiffs, a huge Italian Mastiff. Am I thinking, is there a lot of dogs from Italy? And then you got the whole area in Canada, like Nova Scotia. You got Newfoundland. You got Labradors, because aren't those areas in Canada? Anyway, Café Anyway.
This show is clean.
As what you probably noticed. I haven't said a bad word yet. Is Greyhound a bad word? I don't think so. Sometimes the buses are pretty disgusting. And I wouldn't want to be inside of them. But, hey, I haven't ridden on a Greyhound in decades. I had friends down in San Diego, and I was living in the Ventura County area. I'd catch a Greyhound on the Hudson River line. I'm in a New York state of mind. I'm not going Billy Joel there. Went down to San Diego. It's like a 4-hour drive in a Greyhound. Quite a lot longer because you have to make some stops.
Woo!
In some horrible bus depots. But I'd go down to San Diego, meet up with my friends. I had a lot of friends going to San Diego State, UC San Diego, in La Jolla, where Dr. Seuss had his big old compound and did a lot of his work. Where was I? He said, I went from Alameda all the way down to San Diego. Actually, I went from Alabama to Alameda, if you want to be correct about it. From Alabama to
Mike is on it, man.
Man go where no man has gone before.
We love it, Mike.
Alameda County. So I went from Ventura County to Huntsville, Alabama, to then Alameda County is where I went in the past couple decades. But this area is just amazing in Alameda, the decommissioned military base. So much cool stuff to see, and I'll have some podcast pictures from that area. But the podcast picture today is from Piedmont. So next door to Alameda, the island, is Oakland, and there's a part of the town called Piedmont. And my lovely lady friend and I got a fantastic lunch there.
This is Mike's podcast picnic.
In fact, I brought some of the leftovers here on my podcast picnic. I have some little rice cakes. Is that what I got? Rice cakes, and there was some kind of Thai. It was Thai food. So, and sometimes Thai food will cause a typhoon inside your stomach, but no, not today. It was so good and healthy. My lovely lady friend got some pumpkin curry, which is always delicious. We got these little appetizers that had shiitake mushrooms in them. And so good. I don't remember everything. I just remember I had a Thai.
I got through that. I got into it.
I got into a Thai coffee, iced coffee, which was so good. Place in Piedmont. So see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. This little area in Piedmont. I'm hanging onto a tree, a huge tree that looked like possibly it came from Thailand or thereabouts. But yeah, a lot of fascinating stuff there in this museum. I can't wait to go through it. Upstairs at the top of the museum there in Alameda, in the decommissioned military base, there is a lounge, which they've restored to somewhat.
When you are a man, sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
And sometimes the men that wore stretchy pants, did they wear stretchy pants in the 40s and 50s? If you were in the military, I don't think so. Unless they were Captain America. Then they did. But as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica, and they do have a section devoted to train enthusiasts. A lot of males, a lot of men, as they get older, get into trains, or maybe they got into them when they were kids. Café Anyway. And so there's a train section as well. But even outside of the museum, just free for you to see, are all these old artifacts from the wars. Of fuselages and guns, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. But what's really cool, next to that, they've dropped off these big storage containers that they've converted into stages. And there's like a seating area, and they have performances there. And you're standing on this big tarmac.
Like they got an area where you can get specialty burgers.
Where they have
got
specialty
an area where you
burgers.
get chicken. They got an
They got
area
chicken
where
there.
you can get all this food.
All this stuff is there.
You've never seen anything like it. in your
Like
life.
this tarmac, where they've got all this stuff. Actually, they used to park seaplanes there. Planes that could land on the ocean. And that's what that little port is called, the Seaplane Harbor Bay. And so that's where they would take off from. They would taxi out and then take off in the bay. You never see that anymore in the bay. I don't think I've ever seen a seaplane land in the bay. You can't, because you'd have to. They might run into a boat. Alaska, they got to have it a little more streamlined. There's people flying around in seaplanes with the pontoons all the time.
People get stuck on stupid. You know what I mean?
Very, very true. And people get stuck in airports. That's even more annoying. But, as a kid, one of the first flights I ever did was we flew to Catalina. And they used to have seaplanes that would take off, I think, in Long Beach or San Pedro. They call it San Pedro. Yes, it's pronounced San Pedro. But you took off, landed in Catalina, took you 5 minutes. The flight was fascinating because, it was one of the first flights I ever did as a kid. And you really feel it when you hit the water and when you're taking off. Oh, it's cool. I would love to do it again sometime. I think I was maybe only 6 or 7 when we did it. So I just remember a lot of water hitting the sides of the windows. So Lilo and Stitch, a huge success. Also a big success for Disney. Reliance is also one of the owners of Jio Hotstar, otherwise known as Hotstar. Disney Plus Hotstar, an Indian subscription,
travel into the incredible universe.
Video on demand, over the top streaming service. If you go into that universe, owned by Disney Star. The brand was introduced as Hotstar for a streaming service carrying content from Disney Stars, formerly Star India, the local networks, including films, television series, live sports, original programming, as well as featured content from third parties like Showtime that's been licensed. And they've got growth on mobile broadband in India. They are one of the dominant streaming services in India. Well, what's fascinating is what's big is the cricket league, the Indian Premier League. Let's see. The subscriber numbers, because of that, have exploded to 280 million subscribers, rivaling that of Netflix, which is just about...
Well, I have a microphone, and you don't.
So you will listen to every word I have to say!
Which is what Netflix says generally, because they have the most subscribers. Well, not pretty close to not having the most subscribers, because they have 300 million, and Hotstar has 280 million, so just 20 million away. Now, wait a minute. I think the most streaming time, I think, done with watching videos happens on YouTube. So, well, it says here, second place streamer in 3 months. Not sure what that means. Maybe that Netflix will be in second place in 3 months. We'll see. Haley Bieber, not Haley.
This is Haley Barber.
He was a politician.
Haley Barber. This is Haley Barber.
I don't know what he was. He a Republican?
Hi, this is Haley Barber.
He was abducted by a flying saucer. No, he's still with us. Born in 1947. He is an American attorney general. Oh, an American attorney, rather. A politician, a lobbyist. He was the 63rd governor of Mississippi. That's right. From 2004 to 2013. So 8 years about. A member of the Republican Party. And he was a chairman of the Republican National Committee for 4 years. Born in Yazoo City, Mississippi.
Haley Barber graduated from the University of Mississippi.
But what's fascinating is nobody remembers him. But they know Haley. They magnify Haley Bieber, whose main name is Baldwin. Yes. She apparently is one of the... She's related to the Baldwins. I am not kidding. I have heard this. She... wait, which Baldwin is it? Let's see. Haley Barber now is popping up every 5 seconds on my search. And I do search with Bing because, hey, it's... You get points. Let's see. Haley Bieber. She... Oh, she was born on my birthday. In 96. In 96. Wow. 96. 96 was 5 minutes ago for me. Was that the year that She's So High Above? Is that when that came out? Let's see. She is Alec Baldwin's niece. So Alec Baldwin is her paternal uncle. Ireland Baldwin is her cousin. Kenya Baldwin is her mother. Oh, and it's Stephen Baldwin is her dad. Oh, gosh, Stephen Baldwin. Yeah, there was entirely too much Stephen Baldwin in the movie theaters in the 90s.
It's like a Walmart-sized convenience store and gas pumps.
That's what.
Wow.
There's probably 150 gas pumps.
Whoa.
They're monstrous.
We have a lot
They're
of gas
monstrous.
pumps.
Bigger than
You
bigger
go
than
in.
Costco.
They're massive.
They're massive.
World famous.
Biggest thing. Café Anyway. Oh, that's right. He was in 8 Seconds. Okay, so in the 90s when I was a DJ on the radio, country radio, everybody was talking about 8 Seconds. Oh, yes, and his love interest in that movie was the gal who played Chely on the TV show Northern Exposure, which I don't think she did much other than Northern Exposure in 8 Seconds. He was also in, oh gosh, Viva Rock Vegas. Oh, the Flintstones. Right. Was he Barney? No. He was somebody. I don't. And he's since gotten into more Christian type movies. He is the youngest of the 4 Baldwin brothers. And the dad of Hailey Bieber. Wow. So she sold, as you may have heard, she sold her line. I don't know what, she's got some kind of beauty stuff. She sold it to Elf Beauty for $1 billion because she had Dr. Evil representing her. And that includes $800 million in cash and stock, as well as an additional $200 million tied to future performance over the next 3 years. So there is some involvement on how well she does in the future. She is 28 years old. She began considering a sale after the brand reached $1 billion valuation and reported over $200 million in net sales within a 12-month period. So the sale is the largest acquisition in Elf Beauty's history, because elves gotta look good. So, and gives the company full control.
MTV News. You hear it
first. With this MTV News, M standing for millennials, because that's the type of consumer she's appealing to, millennials and Gen Z, because this is a fast-growing brand that is popular with them. It was founded in 2022. Yes, just 5 minutes ago, less than 5 minutes ago. Just remember 22. I was talking about 2022 to somebody today. The guy that was over there at the museum telling me all about the museum, because he was telling me about how parts of the Naval Air Base got submerged. Yes, there was so much. There was like a cyclone bomb that hit that part of the Alameda Island, and water got so high up it nearly got up to the museum. I mean, the museum's sitting up high, but it's right next to the water as well. So. But 2022 was when all that craziness happened, just not that long ago. But it's eons to some youngsters. And in 2022, Hailey founded this company. She is what you call an influencer, a very successful.
There's a real scary holiday coming up.
Oh, is that July 4th? Yep. Got to get ready for that. And please do me a favor and take a break from the influencers out there. So, yeah, $212 million is how much she did in sales last year with her company called Rode, the model Hailey Bieber, and the influencer. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Look who's here. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. I'm not an influencer, Mike Matthews. No, you're an innovator. That's more important. You come up with these fascinating inventions. How's that thing going with the shaving legs? Yeah, Mike Matthews, my barbershop for women's legs is going very well. I have women that are shaving the women's legs. And it's a wonderful idea. I'm glad women are partaking in it. And I take all the money I make and I donate it to charities, Mike Matthews. Oh, some good charities, I hope. Yeah, there's a charity right now that's making sure.
Fabagoo, things to do. Things to do.
And it's one of my things to do is to make sure that there's a big wall around Alameda so when the water rises, it doesn't hurt the museum, Mike Matthews. Good thinking. We don't want this museum to be hurt, or any museums to be hurt for that matter, because they're fascinating things that you learn. because its history's being kept alive, as I'm told by the YouTube influencer who's not an influencer at all, but he's sure got a lot of subscribers. RV or TV guy, Russ, which if I watch one of his videos, I fall asleep so fast. But he's driving across the country. He's checking out museums and keeping history alive. That's what he always says. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is Don Dare, the engineer. Wow. Thanks for bringing up all those awful movies that Stephen Baldwin did. You know, he did some... Basically, anything he did after a while, you were like, what? Okay, I will not see that. But hey, his daughter's laughing all the way to the bank, so... According to Reuters, Haley Bieber Baldwin reportedly began exploring exit strategies recently this year after her company reached $1 billion valuation, prompting discussions about a potential sale. You know what's not stale? The fantastic Band's Mutations.
Band's Mutations.
That have happened in the history of the world. One Band's Mutation you may know of that I'll tell you real quick. You know the Foo Fighters? That's basically a Band's Mutation of Nirvana. Because, of course, Dave Grohl was the drummer of Nirvana and then started sing. And then when he started singing, and from what I was told, he played like all the instruments. I don't know if it's on every album, but one of the early albums, he was playing all the instruments, the drums, everything. Multi-instrumentalist, innovator dude. So that's a Band's Mutation for you, just off the top of my head, because you asked. Anybody else, any other Band's Mutations of any type else that of any concern? Well, I could talk about Green Day. Fascinating Green Day, because they also for a while had a band that was like all digital. They wanted to go all electric. That band was called The Network. They also had a band called Foxborough Hot Tubs, which sounds very 60s, late 60s, early 70s. And I love that album. Somebody got me a copy and I was just addicted to it. And then they've also been affiliated with the Cover-Ups, the Long Shot, and Pinhead Gunpowder. So Band's Mutations, talking about all the Band's Mutations of Green Day. And that is pretty much the end of the show. So if you would like to contribute in any possible way, you can call me at this number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Hi, Mike Matthews. I'm grateful to you. Bye-bye.
And with all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the mainframe. And here from mainframe, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!